Welcome everyone to the Sketch Zone podcast.
Oh, man.
I'm Carlos.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to go ahead and welcome Charlie B. Williams III.
What's up, Sketch Zone Nation? I'm here. It's Thursday in the month of October. I don't know the date, but it's episode 160. Let's go.
October 11. Hey, let's welcome Sketchbook Jack himself, Jack Kasperzak.
Hello. It's 9:16 on a Thursday.
Jack be low-key making fun of me. Leave me alone, Jack.
It's all good.
So let's go ahead and say hello to a few people. Shiloh's in the chat. Noel, hello.
Noel.
Sylvester, hello, Sylvester. Christine is in there. All right.
We got a loaded chat room.
We're getting there. So hello, everyone. If you join,
what's up, everybody?
When as I move over to my notes, I apologize. However, welcome. And if you are watching live, you can go ahead and ask us questions. Otherwise, you can use the Sketch Zone hotline. 408 Sketch 408-753-8248. International callers, please use 011-408-753-8248. Operators are standing by. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into.
Let's go over to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe every day's a good day when you paint.
She said old man in his notes. Yo, every week's awesome. Fire.
That was a good novel.
She's gonna get beat up. I know people don't.
Whoa. You can't say that.
Oh, I mean, just kidding.
Yo, that's like the old school, like Alfred Hitchcock, like studio. like you killed the butler in the pantry.
Hey, so last time we met was a couple weeks ago, and we meant to do one of these last week or between, but then I got sick and blah blah blah. Anyway, moving on. Okay. So a couple weeks ago we had a clumsy farmer undressing. Let's see what the nation did. Oh, Coconut Justice, whoever that is.
Why you got to start with him?
Yeah, why? What's going on here?
Because he's the first one who
he undressed first.
Finished. He was doing things in the barn, and
here we go.
We're just gonna leave it like that. The cow's like, woo? All right, moving on.
I do.
We got Sketchbook Jack. Hello, clumsy farmer getting dragged.
Getting dragged. Yo.
Yeah. Weird.
Okay.
Weird.
Clumsy farmer's gonna get dragged to death. Oh, wait a minute. His pants are down, aren't they?
Yes, that was part of the theme.
Yo, that's gotta hurt.
He's undressing because nothing's sexier than getting dragged.
like road rash. You got such good color on your butt.
Like it. Let's see. We got Pete Mezzanine.
This was a cute one.
Yeah, it looks like a still frame from like a little side scroller video game.
Yeah.
Or even a kid's book. It's a really good kid's book.
I like the miniature bull.
I believe this is Pete's first one.
So nice.
Welcome, Pete.
Thanks, Pete.
Yeah.
I like the miniature bulldog. Bulldog. Dog bull.
Excuse me?
A dog-sized bull.
The bulldog. The dog bull. The bullish dog.
Maestro, please.
Look at the rosy nose. Cute.
Man, they all just help him get to bed.
Yeah. Like there's just like
that's a good farmer right there. Yeah. Look at his toes. I'm not gonna lie. His toes kind of look like hands.
like you can give a good firm handshake.
He can climb a tree barefoot.
Or his hands look like feet, so
yeah.
Maybe he walks around on. Maybe that's why he's so clumsy.
Yeah, maybe he has one bad foot. You know.
And for the record,
you can't really stand on that thing.
I know we're teasing you a little bit, but people have been telling me that I have hands for feet. for years now. So it's not. It happens. It happens.
What? That's a thing.
People freak out when I pick up the remote and change the channel.
Put those things away.
No, don't.
All right, that was it. That was a quick one. So let's go ahead and all right, chat room. This is where we need you, especially you, Sylvester.
All right, chat room, pick 3. That's our magic number lately.
Come on, Noel. Everybody, pick a good one.
Let me. This might be a good time. No, actually, let's say I'll wait for right after we pick. I'm gonna have never-ending nightmares now.
This is caressing your cheek.
All right, guys, in the chat, pick
Right.
3. I get yelled at when I say one.
Guys and gals.
But this time we'll let you. We won't yell at
He
you.
won't ban you.
You're a little spicy, but we won't yell at you for picking one.
You say
We'll
what
yell
you
at you
want.
for other things.
You speak your truth.
For someone who wants,
Sylvester says, question, for someone who wants to get into an animation studio but not really sure what an animation studio, maybe I should direct. Hey, Sylvester, step 1 in finding your way into an animation studio is picking one of the things
I knew you
here.
were gonna do that.
all right, we got location.
You're gonna put that right.
We got a location.
But for real, Sylvester, we can get up on that. But we got to get
Yeah,
up.
we'll
We
talk
gotta
about
get
that
Chrome.
in a little bit. All right, we got location. Anyone else?
All right, what's else? Come on, Chris,
How
pick
about-
one.
how
I know you're
about-
still there.
Bum, bum, bum,
We've already
bum,
lost Chris
bum,
to
bum.
sleep.
We're having Shiloh.
Shiloh, pick a good one. Come on.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Don't listen to Carlos. Is the number
Animal,
one.
okay.
Animal. All right.
Location and animal.
There.
Cool. One more.
One more.
Almost there.
You can do it. Who's gonna be?
Someone. Come on.
We might need to do that.
Someone. Anyone.
I think we lost to Dean.
Crickets.
He's gone.
Crickets. Animal. We already. I'm reading it
All
again.
right.
I got excited.
Let's just do adjective. That's a good filler.
I just did
Adjective. All right. Prompt me.
Roll them. An obnoxious fawn
Oh,
in a cave.
Obnoxious fawn cave.
Obnoxious
Action.
Action.
Fawn? Okay, what's happening?
Cool.
Do we want to?
Take off
I'm
the
just
other one.
gonna.
Take off the adjective. Now let's try it. I feel good about this.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Fawn soaking.
Fawn soaking. Do you?
Yeah, we doing this?
When we get
I'm not drawing that.
when we're not in public, I have to. There. I think it's the Amish folks that have soaking as a thing, and remind me to tell you what that is. I don't know.
Shut up. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Swap out soaking.
No.
I'm not doing that.
Not doing that.
Scraping.
Yo, it's just soaking. Why y'all making that a thing?
Hey, Corey.
Make Corey pick
Hey,
one.
welcome, Long Arm 358.
Hey, welcome. Howdy.
Do we? Okay.
Have Corey pick
Are
one.
we,
Man, these aren't too hot.
do we want to?
Oh, that last one.
Unlock all of them?
Yeah, re-roll entirely.
Yeah, reroll. Let's do it.
Got to challenge yourself.
Oh,
okay, see,
nice. Yeah, there
this
it is.
is what. See, Noel.
Ooh.
Noel, this is where you get yelled at. This is
No.
where you get yelled at.
I do this every week.
because-
See with me. It's cool.
Oh, okay, my bad then.
Yeah.
A pelican learning in a penthouse.
I like that one.
Go with it.
That's very bizarre, but I like it.
That's the weirdest picture.
Let's go up to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe every day's a good day when you paint.
All right, so if you were watching on Sketch Zone Podcast, Instagram.com/Sketch Zone Podcast,
Mhm.
you would have seen that I was going to announce something that Charlie and Jack don't even know about.
Wow!
What are you doing? Wait a minute. Oh gosh.
So, a friend of ours
Who is?
Who is it?
had reached out and said, "Hey, we're doing a Kickstarter. Would you mind talking about it on the show?"
Okay.
So I said, "Sure." So we're gonna have a link.
Ah,
We're gonna have a link to this Kickstarter in the show notes,
Mm-hmm.
and I want you guys to take a look. Sketch Wallet, the guy who started Sketch Wallet, Ralph Thomas, he basically took a sketchbook, put it in a wallet, and put a pencil in it, and all this good stuff. So I have one. I think Charlie, you got one too. I think
Yeah.
Jack got one.
Yeah.
So then the first iteration was a leather one, a leather wallet. And then the second iteration, he came out with a canvas one. So now everyone loved those, but they were saying that they're like, sometimes they're a little too big. So now he's coming out with a small and a medium sketch wallet.
Just in your back pocket.
Yeah. Yeah. So the good news is, he's sending me, I think he's sending me at least one. He might be sending me a couple. So if you do the fun prompt, which is
good call.
which is a pelican learning in a penthouse, you will be entered in a drawing to win one of these wallets. That if he sends me one, you win the one. If he sends me two, maybe we'll stretch it out for a couple weeks.
that incentive to play.
So yes, draw a pelican learning penthouse, and then we'll give away one of these. It's in the mail. I got the email that's saying that something was shipped to me, so I should have it in the next handful of days. So yeah. Do the fun prompt.
Yeah, nice. Nice.
Do the fun prompt. You can win a Sketch Wallet. Thank you, Ralph Thomas and Sketch Wallet. I believe if you go to sketchwallet.com. So yeah, do that. And then tag us, obviously tag us so we can show you drawings on the show, live on the show, kind of like what we just did.
Yeah.
However,
For sure.
tag us and tag Sketch Wallet on
Yeah.
Instagram this time, so you can let him know that you want to win this wallet, and then he knows that
You know,
You know.
that you know that we know.
he knows that we know that you know that he
Yeah.
knows
That you see him.
that you know.
That you see him. Because I know.
Real quick,
Uh-oh.
Here we go.
What are we talking about?
What's with the side?
guys, I'm gonna do the goofy one first.
Okay.
So Facebook came out with their own version of Alexa, or Alexa Show, I think it's called.
What's it called?
Facebook has a thing called what's it called? Like Facebook something or other. It's basically you have a tablet that's mounted on this little base, and as you're talking, you can make calls to whoever you are friends with on Facebook. Ooh, English, don't fail me.
Translation. You got to translate that in your head.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. So
that all it does?
And then the thing is, I think, I don't know. I didn't read too much into it because I don't need any more stuff that listens to me all the time.
Okay. Cool. Fair enough.
But
Mhm.
the cool thing is the screen kind of moves, so you could be walking around and the screen just kind of follows you around.
That's
And you're
Freaky.
like, oh, hey,
That's freaky. That means it's.
That's the only thing that's different than anything else.
Is it recording?
I don't know if it's recording. I doubt it.
Is it
It might be
listening to you?
recording.
Is it
might be
listening to you? It
recording
is Facebook.
NSA.
It is Facebook. It could be gathering.
Okay, it's called Facebook Portal.
Yeah. So they could be
Portal.
mining you for information.
Portal.
It says smart hands-free video calling with Alexa built in.
So Amazon getting paid off of this.
Amazon is making money off of their AI.
because they're like, why
So
invent?
it'll-
Facebook's like, why invent the real? We'll just throw Alexa in there.
So you can get a Facebook portal for $199 or Facebook portal plus for $349.
Yeah, that's how they get you.
Try worry-free, fast, easy returns within 30 days. I only need half an hour. 1 year limited warranty. Have your portal delivered from Facebook anywhere in the United States. Boom. So yeah, I guess it's just they had the $199 version just sits there. So it's kind of like the Alexa thing. You can Alexa has this one that's and I just realized that people might have Alexas in their house and they're
going crazy.
waking
They're
up.
going crazy
So
right
I
now.
apologize. So the Amazon version of this just kind of sits there, which
Call
is
it
a
Anita.
cheaper version.
Let's
of
just
this.
give her a different name. Let's call her
Anita.
Amy. Okay, Anita. Yeah, there we go. You're right on the same wave.
Anita.
Yo, Anita said she got
So
attitude.
Anita, the cheap Anita, the little Anita,
Yo,
is
Cheap
$199.
Anita.
yo, Anita don't like you talking about her like that, man.
So where's everyone from? Where are you from?
Just having a conversation. Probably wasn't talking to you.
So the cheap Anita or Facebook portal is $199, and then the one that moves is
That's Amy.
$49. Yeah, big sister Amy. So yeah, and then not to be outdone,
Mm-hmm.
Google came out with
Their version.
their version of the same, basically the same
Alyssa.
thing.
Yeah, Google came out
Well,
with
Alyssa.
Alyssa don't play, you know.
So Google came out with the
Yeah.
Google Home Hub, which it
Google
looks
Home
like
Hub.
they probably it
That's
looks
a
like they
dumb-
probably took it looks like they took almost like an iPad and glued it to a Google
Base.
Home.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's Alyssa for you. Alyssa and Google.
I'm the guy from Vancouver.
Okay.
That narrows it down.
Well, Google also came out with their version of the Surface Book or Surface. Or no, is it? Yeah, Microsoft Surface. So like they came out with their own little new tablet or what you call it, tablet / laptop. It's like the one that looks like a tablet with a flimsy laptop connected to it. You know, the thin stuff. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Which is kind of excited me. And then they updated their Google.
So this is the Facebook portal.
Uh-huh.
And then you turn it.
Apparently,
If you turn it on the side, you have the Google version.
right. And this is the Google version.
So it's white.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, like, if you take a look at the Google one, at least they're showing you that when you wake up, it's going to give you the weather and all this good stuff.
Yeah. If you say
That's a little better.
it
Tells
gives you
you
a
how to get
rundown
to
of
work,
your day,
your commute to work.
your
Like,
calendar.
You have salsa dancing class with Kate.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Control your connected home in one
Which is probably
view.
expensive.
That
So it's all
helps.
those smart bulbs and all the other stuff where you can be like, hey Google,
Yeah,
change it to Charlie mood. You know, and the whole house turns to blue or something.
right. Because he's blue. Ba-da-dee-da-da-da. So, oh, look it, and you can check your front door. You can connect it to
Okay.
your home.
Oh, look, it's the Goldbergs.
No, wow.
Let them sit out there for a minute.
So yeah, that makes a little more sense.
Uh-huh. Okay.
But still. Why?
Or the fire's out, yeah.
Why? I don't understand why
Why what?
why everyone's got to have the same thing. Like all these corporations are legit doing the same exact thing. Look at
Because that's what's making
Look at
money.
Apple, Google, and
Amazon.
who else? And Amazon came out with the smart speaker thing, right?
Mhm.
And then they started putting screens to them,
Yeah.
and now everyone wants to get into creating content.
Yeah.
At what point? At what point is someone going to be like, okay, we're going to do something different?
Something different and cooler. I want somebody like, yo, we came out with hoverboards. It's just like,
Yeah.
like just go left, so that you can like reap the benefits for 5 years on being first, and then everybody will just copy you. But like, I don't know. It's like trends, I guess. But it just makes everything boring. Like I don't do. And let's talk about this. Wait a minute. Let's chat. You probably agree with me on this. Are you really using that stuff that much? I have an Alexa downstairs. You know what we use it for? Turn music on so the kids can dance.
That's like the number one use for it.
Yeah.
And I gotta hook to some lights so I can tell it to put stuff on or off. That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here.
Like,
well,
is that really cool?
I can actually tell my Alexa to turn the temperature to a certain degree.
I got that.
Do you have it hooked up with you have a Nest or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can see that. But like, are you really yelling out? Like I was at, well, you guys know, I was at Patrick's house watching the fight on Saturday. And then all of a sudden they're like, hey, Google, turn on Halloween. I was like, what? I looked at them like, what are y'all doing? Whole room went weird orange. I'm like, you guys are really.
Charlie was like, oh hell, real life, get out.
because Patrick and Marta's is Patrick's wife. Patrick's been on the show. Like, is legit Halloween enthusiasts. Like, go to haunted houses every week in October as a religion, and then like. When they set the whole Halloween theme and all the lights went cool, I'm like, ooh, I'm kind of want those smart bulbs. I kind of wanted them because they were like setting them to their names, and each of their names had a different theme. I'm like, this is kind of cool outside of setting mood lighting, but like outside of those things, if you don't have those things connected or you don't have the Nest, all that stuff, it just seems like it's like a gateway drug to like home security, smart lights. Regulated, smart, everything, smart, thermostats and stuff like that. But I feel like you have to invest in all those things so all those things can be interconnected for you really to be getting to use it. Because is anybody waking up and being like, oh, Google, just tell me what I got to do today? And it is really like going down their calendar. I don't think so. Maybe. I mean, some of the coolest things that Google showed on their like different like keynote. Obviously, the Pixel 3 it's pretty cool. I'm a little biased because I'm a Pixel 2 user, which is really cool. But the coolest thing that they had, where they had a little bit of like, inkling out of all this stuff we've been talking about, this helping you live better type of stuff, is Google's coming out with this new thing, where basically, say you're in a meeting, right? And you don't want, one of the things is on the phone. Say you're in a meeting and you don't want your phone to go off. All you have to do is turn your phone face down, and it'll silence all notifications and everything. So that was kind of cool. But say you get a phone call, you look down and you choose not to answer it. Remember when we talked about Google being able to call places for you and then like do all that stuff? Well, now what they do is Google will answer your phone for you. Tell the person that you can't come to the phone.
In what voice?
I don't know what voice it is. And leave a message, right? And then like it'll transcribe the message. So you'll see the message and it'll say, go ahead and talk, and Charlie will see what you have to say, or whoever is calling. And it's like, oh, hey Jack, this is Charlie. I just want to see if you're in the meeting so I can call you and get you out of there. Call me back. And then that'll come up on the screen, and then it'll send a copy to the person that just called you, and you instantly can see what they want. So if they know you in the meeting, right? Say you're at work, I know you're in the meeting. Hey Jack, those slides are on the D drive. Da, da, da. You can like call the person, and they can look at their phone and know what you're saying because it'll transcribe what you're saying, and then send it to you. I was like, that's about the coolest thing I heard of the whole keynote, like of like this whole automated thing where they're like answering the phones.
That's where all this goofiness is going to be good.
Yeah, I thought that was cool because you'd be like, tell Felicia bye. Like it's something so crazy, like like I don't want to talk to you right now. Tell me what you want. Google, just talk to her. I thought it'd be something cool. That's where we're gonna get to at that point. Or do custom voices like James Earl Jones answers for you. You can talk to Charlie right now. Please state your, or like some like weird guard. State why you're here.
Yeah.
You know. So I wish we get to the point where people were innovating, you know, in terms of that, and people are not doing that as much anymore. You know, they're just like playing it safe.
Everyone is doing what everyone else is doing, and it kind of all the stuff that's happening kind of it started snowballing because I was looking at this and I was looking at the Facebook portal and the Google Home thing and all that stuff. Does it have pen pressure?
Oh, they're talking about.
Oh, they're talking about something else. Okay.
Keep going.
I was like,
Facebook portal has pen pressure. So I can poke grandma in the eye.
Yo, leave grandma out of this.
You gotta watch that one.
Feels so real.
And it led me down this path because I started watching YouTube videos, not about this, about like photography and videography and all that stuff, right? And then I started realizing that we as artists have a tendency to do this very same thing.
I see your segue. That was clever.
Look at how much look at you.
It's like you had this prepared.
Look at you little. Ooh.
Oh,
grown up and stuff. All right, keep going. You kind of messed up a segue. But
oh yeah, we have a XP pen. You guys will be able to play with at the next GZA Expo. Anyway, so and I think that that's something that we have to be careful with as artists when we see someone doing something and they get notoriety for it.
Okay.
We have to be careful that we don't fall into that. Like, follow your path.
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess it's saying there. Then being more individual.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to be careful because, I mean, for example, like Jack does the black and whites and Shiloh is just amazing, right? And I also want to have thousands, tens of thousands of followers on Instagram, but copying them, I don't know. I don't think it's going to get me there any faster. I'm just going to look like a Sketchbook Jack knockoff, or
Sketchbook Jack. Could have swore I was like, "Yo, calm it down." You not that bad.
I would have approved of that.
I don't know why I thought you could say a Sketchbook Jackass. I don't know why. I was just like, no, you're not that.
But you know what I mean? Like,
no, I get you.
I'm a huge fan of fan art and stuff like that. I think doing that stuff and like, what is it, like Shiloh's done it, like draw this in your style
in
thing.
Style of, yeah.
Right. So you take that subject, but you draw it in your own style, and that stuff. I'm a huge fan of that.
Yeah, yeah,
me too.
But to draw in Jack's style specifically because that's how I want to be, and I copy him. It's probably going to come off as I'm just like a knockoff Jack.
Maybe. Yeah, I mean,
well, we see it run rampant in the comic book industry. Just walk through Artist Alley. Been doing it for years.
Yeah, that's
sure.
True.
I mean, we can name J. Scott Campbell, Joe Madureira, Jason Lee, Alvin Lee. You know, this goes on and on. The greats that can do. What's the guy who just spawned? Todd McFarlane and stuff like that. Yeah. You know, those guys all have a following, even the cult classic ones. When you really get into it, you know, really get into the comic books of those other certain styles and stuff like that, are more pin-up styles and like, you know, the ones that specialize in women that do draw in a certain way and stuff like that. Like we see it, But some people do evolve into their own, and some
Yeah.
people kind of get in a rut, and that's what they do, the whole time. So I think it happens, but the ones that really study the craft, they kind of end up evolving. They end up evolving out of like their entry level way of thinking, and something clicks someday through a lot of hard work and practice, or classes and other stuff they take, and they start to evolve it. Because we have seen it evolved where you see where they're influenced by things, but then it evolves into their own thing. Like we had a guest on the show, and he said this before, so it's not anything surprising to anybody. But I went to school with Mike Henry. And he was in the same classes as me and graduated with me. And both of us were really influenced by Joe Madureira, and Mark Henry was heavily influenced. So if you look at any of his old drawings from 2001, 2002, 2004, it's heavily Joe Mad. Even like homage to the way he signs his work and stuff like that. But if you look at his work today, and you look at his work back then in school, it's totally different, and it's evolved into this own niche that I haven't found anybody else that looks like Mike's work. It's truly, to me, unique in terms of like what it looks like right now. Like no one else. I can't, and I figured I can go on ArtStation for a while or Pinterest and try to find somebody similar. Like it's weird. It's in its own realm now, which is really cool. So that's like an example to me of how somebody evolves, through a bunch of practice and a bunch of work, Yeah,
that makes sense. And then I watched a video where some photographers. One of the funnest things I like to do is like if I'm hanging out with Jack, or if I'm hanging out with Ryan Brockmeyer, who's Midway Documentary, midwaydoc.com. He's the director of Midway Documentary. But when we're hanging out together, we always take our cameras out and we're taking pictures and doing all kinds of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're hanging out as photographers in the same area, you're taking pictures of the same exact thing. And then, so these guys were doing that too, but then they got into this conversation about collaboration and competition. And I wanted to have a conversation about that with you guys, because not that we've ever competed against each other. We collaborate every week, but Mike Henry, Zetransis on Instagram. But yeah, I wanted to see, because I've got stories about collaboration that has worked, and then where collaboration all of a sudden turns into competition. And it runs rampant when you're in school.
Oh yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right. So for example, when we were in school, when I was still in school, we had this one guy who got really good at animating in Flash, and he submitted a short film into a contest, and he won. All of a sudden, everyone wanted to animate in Flash. And it's like that. And good, bad, or indifferent, I don't know. I don't know if I care. But the fact still remains, whenever there's a glimmer of success over there, everyone rushes over there.
Mm-hmm.
So let's unpack that dynamic, the dynamic between coming together for a greater goal, or coming together to basically learn off of each other just to cut each other off at the path.
Yeah, that's a that's a nasty little web, because I think it's a super fine line, and I do think even in the best case, when it's all good intentions, I think there is some overlap.
Yeah, always.
I mean,
Yeah, it's just
I think obviously, the reason we're here doing the show, the reason we've talked to other guests, the reason guests follow other people follow each other, it's always because of self-interest. I'm interested in this artist. I like the way that something about their work inspires me, and so there is a learning aspect from that. Some people, there's a taking aspect from that. But obviously, it can be productive in a helpful way if artists helping each other and explaining. That's like, if we just use this show for an example, there's a billion podcasts out there. There's a couple others that are on similar topics to ours. There's a collaboration in that we're bringing new guests on, and that we like to talk to other folks to kind of pick their brain and try and feel like some camaraderie and, like you said, collaboration as artists, and kind of share experiences and learn from those. And I think, this being that there's no profit really involved here, I think we're fairly safe from any sort of competition. But I think outside of that, it's very easy. As soon as it becomes a career and people's money's on the line, people's egos are on the line, people's reputations are on the line. Then I think it starts to break down rather quickly.
Yeah. Well, anytime you try to make things, like you said, into a career, there's an aspect of like not failing, and wanting to succeed, that like, and wanting to I guess to be the best at what you're doing. And I think that's where that comes from. So just like you would see success, like Carlos mentioned, in schools and stuff like that, people will see other people succeeding and stuff like that, and the drive to want to be good or better would cause people to try to figure out what's the best way to get on, and what's the best way, or sometimes even what's the easiest way. So I think if people tend to start to want to copy or start to do the same things, it's like they see that as a quick way of getting success, not seeing all the other work involved in that. I feel like it happens not even like at the student level. I think it happens at all levels in terms of being artists, right? I feel like it happens in trends, because we just talked about it with big companies, but it happens in trends within different industries and stuff like that. What looks good, you see it in commercials and stuff like that. And then every commercial has the same type of tone, or same type of look, or every intro to a TV show has the same type of look and something like that. You can see it if you look back through television and stuff like that. What's hitting in the market, What I think back in the day, one year, when the kids at one point, like, different stuff, animals, and like those different trends and stuff happen, so every manufacturer makes those things. So I think it's woven into society, if you will. When they see something that works, they try to replicate it to keep it working, because they want that same success, So
yeah. I think, like Chris was saying in the chat room, people look for shortcuts, and I think that's really common in the professional world. As well as the individual artist and student world, but I think it's almost more common in the professional world. I think you see it. You see it in trends, and like we were just talking about with Facebook and Google and whatnot. But in like movie and entertainment as well. You see one type of movie do really, really well, and then suddenly there's a billion different knockoffs. And even if they're not knockoffs, they're taking very specific elements. Look at what happened in the aftermath of Matrix, and how many people did similar things to that. Or whenever there's like a successful component to a film, folks latch onto that and then just duplicate it to death.
And you being in the film industry so long, you could see it just by way of like not getting a lot of like, how should I put this? Not getting a lot of like movies that are like interesting or new or different, right? You more so like, we just talked before the show about the new Ali and
Stan and Ollie,
Stan and Ollie movie. I wish they would do, because there's a lot of great actors out there. There's a lot of that could do more stuff to push themselves a little bit farther. If there was just more interesting movies that are different, you know. And I'm all for my like sci-fi movies and stuff like that. But other those movies like we saw with Stan Alley, that stuff, it looks cool. That like if people just push out the box, but you know, in some cases we know that those different movies kind of work, and they usually get nominated for different things. It was the musical that happened. Was it 2 years ago? The one, yeah, that one, and then there was something else that followed the year later, and a couple years from now, it was what was it? The one with Michael Keaton in it. Birdman. Like it seemed like it's like there's always one or two and those ones get nominated for stuff, and then there's a bunch of other like gimmicky ones, or you know, this one's live action now, or this is based off an old movie that happened, and now we're doing a live action one because it used to be a cartoon, you know. But you know, so we always seeing the shortcuts, as Chris was saying, you know. And I just want more movies because I like to go to the movies. Don't go see Venom. I heard it's hard.
Yeah, or kind of like what Corey Stisser in the chat room was talking about, and we touched on it a little bit, where it gets really touchy is at work, because you're on a team full of other artists, right?
Yeah.
If you guys are working on the same project, you guys are working literally on the same thing. So there's things, and to be a good teammate, you have to share, because what you learn makes them better. And as the team, if the team continues to deliver, then it makes the team better and success, especially with gaming. Like gaming, the better the team does, and the better the game will do. The better the game does, the better the bonuses at the end.
Yeah.
Right.
And everyone keeps their job.
And everyone keeps their job, and that's the benefit of it. Yeah. But I've been in situations where you're on a team, and I'm trying to be delicate with this because I don't want to come off as a crybaby, but it is what it is.
Oh boy,
speak your truth.
I've been on teams where we share information, right? We share information, and then once something is delivered, someone took complete credit for everything. And then and you can't come back. You can't go to your boss and be like, "Hey, he stole that from me," right? You can't really do that.
Yeah,
you could, but it's probably not.
And then all of a sudden, when layoffs come around, I'm the one packing my desk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So that's when you got to just like put them up for other tasks that you know they can't do. I'm sorry, that's bad. I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's messed up. It's messed up.
I've done that here. I'm trying to keep from cussing so much, but I've done that dick move where I was doing the majority of the work, and then this dude was taking credit for it, and I said, okay, fine. I purposely left this one very simple thing off, and then I was taking a vacation day the next day, right? So I wasn't going to be there. And I told him, they called me in the morning. I was like, all you have to do is, do this thing, whatever it was,
You'll be good. You'll be fine.
Yeah. It was something as simple as just rename the XML file, right? And he didn't know how to do it. So I had to prove my point. But the project was delayed.
Yo, how long did you prove your point? I'll see you back on Monday.
Yeah,
let that ride.
Friday off. I took that Friday off. That's what And then when I came back on Monday, they're like, "Oh, this is still not." And I was like, "Well, I told him all he had to do was do this one simple thing."
He did the other stuff.
And why the hell is he taking credit for literally everything that I'm doing? You know what I mean? And that's not
tough.
real good either, because
Yeah.
it would suck if everyone lost their job.
Yeah,
But
it's a tough one.
I was seeing this repetitive thing that this guy was
Kept
doing.
coming
Just
up,
kept taking credit for all my work.
Mhm.
And he was busy while I was doing the work. He was kissing the boss's butt.
Yeah.
Salty.
And so I kind of had to prove my point.
Yeah.
Like, you can legit let this guy go and we'll be fine.
Jackie,
You know what I mean?
Carlos in that on his having that conversation. You can legit let him go. Just saying, we'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean that's the tough part about
Very
being in a studio or a corporate environment. You know, it's like people play that politics game and play the, you know, people get lazy. People, you know, have ego problems or fragile insecurities, and they cover it up in any way they can. Like, I think those two are like the most common tactics. It's either like just taking credits for someone else's work because you can get away with it, especially when it's like roles, you know, where it's a little ambiguous or hard to track what exactly it is you're doing.
Yeah.
Or we've had the other situation that I've seen is pretty common. People get like really, really extremely protective of what they're doing. They don't want to let on a lot of information about what their role is or about what it is they actually do, because it's a fear that if anyone knows, or someone else, you know, someone might take my job, or if my boss knows the full extent, then I'm at risk. You know, it's like, you know, I mean, all that stuff just kind of comes down to flat out just like insecurities, right? Like they probably suck at their job, and you know,
really do, yeah. Because you can't be with the whole. You got to be transparent. I've learned that a lot, you know, in leading stuff now. Like, you got to be transparent. You got to be able to, like, everybody has their role, and like I tell my team all the time, like, if this one part looks like crap, even if you didn't do it, then the whole thing looks like crap. You know, it's not like just get your task done in inside of the thing, or get those tasks done, or I'm waiting for this, so I'm just gonna sit here and chill because I'm supposed to wait for it. No, it's like you have to like be engaged. You have to communicate. Communication is really big. You have to figure out as artists how you communicate in a way that gets the task done, or not being afraid to say, yo, I can't really do this part. I'm going to need some help on this. You know, I've always had the like notion of like, you know, collaboration is the best, even if you don't know everything. I don't pretend to know everything when I'm at work or whatever. So I'm just like, yo, how we can do this? We can do this, this, this. Here's my ideas, but if you guys got something better, let me know, you know, so we can just get it done. Because I'd rather just get it done rather than, I don't care how it gets done. Let's just get it done, because the client really doesn't care how it gets done. They just want to get done because they paid you to do a job. So,
right, but
it'll come out in the wash who's better, though. Yeah.
At what point? I almost went straight. At what point are you boo the foo?
No. I don't think you are, though. Like, if you're good at what you do, it comes out. It rises to the top always.
Yeah,
always does.
I would say that's pretty much always true, because there's always somebody else, either at a relative level to you or your supervisor or somebody else, that's kind of eyeballing what you're doing. You know, whether that's their job to manage what you do, or it's just somebody else who's kind of works in the same environment with you. And, you know, you might get away with it for a while with protecting what you do, or, you know, taking credit. But, like, the real smell test is, like, what happens, like, if you're gone on vacation or you're sick for a week, that will determine everything that the person needs to know. If everything falls apart, or they really miss you while you were gone, and they're like, man, he really filled this big gap, then they're going to realize, like, what your value is. If everything still moves smoothly and they're like, man, we don't even really need that person, like, then you start to ask these questions about, like, so all that stuff they're hiding from me, or all that stuff they're taking credit for, like, who's really doing that work? You know, it's kind of, you learn a lot when you start, like, missing people.
Yeah, and you have to be able to, like, know how to show your value while you're there, because, like, the second thing to come back from your vacation, be like, you know, no real problems. We had some really good hurdles we had to get over, but we got over them. Like, no. so,
this is
I
how.
guess let's go.
This is how trashy that whole situation ended, right? So they started making cuts. I had to pack up all my things, right? Well, actually, I was a contractor, right? But I was working really hard because I wanted to get pulled on full time.
For sure.
So I'm working, and they hired me for something completely different, and then I started doing design, and I started doing Flash development, all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then, so dude started taking credit for all this stuff, and they said, okay, well, they got mad, rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
And as I came back, like after they let my contract expire, I started I showed up to get all my stuff, and dude was sitting at my computer, and I was like, that's my mouse. So I took my mouse, and he was sitting there. He didn't even know where to go get a mouse.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they felt the effects after you left, because if you can only scramble so much if you really don't know how to do stuff, you know.
Yeah.
It sucks, but I'm always of the fact that, like, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like that dude probably won't have a job too much longer, or it didn't have a job too much longer.
I don't know.
You don't know? You know, so I don't know. From a management standpoint.
That's me, though. That's me.
Yeah.
Like, I'll show up and I work really hard, right?
For sure.
And then if my contract is up or whatever, then I'm good. Then we move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm grown.
For sure. No, I just think, you know, when you probably was there, though, like, you could definitely see, like, the level of quality of projects either went up or went down after you left, you know.
Right.
It's anywhere you go if you're there and you're doing good work, because that's rare, because a lot of people take that easy road. They're like always scrambling, you know, or they're like cutting corners and stuff like that, and it comes out in the work, you know.
Right.
The personality will definitely get them in trouble someday. Yeah, for sure, Sylvester.
Yeah, I wanted to read Sylvester's comment because it was a good one. He says, I feel that person might take credit right now, but sooner or later he or she will be tested, whereas the person working hard would never stop working hard because you have a bigger goal. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets daunting after a while to be like, you can't, with technology getting better, with things getting better, with projects getting more complex. I feel like the people always that, like, struggle in the end, or what I like to call coattails or coasters, like, that always comes out later. Like, I've seen many people at other places that have had big layoffs. I mean, I've worked in the game industry for like 10 years, so I've seen a lot of layoffs. I've been in a lot of layoffs too, where, like, you know, there's some people that don't do that whole work ethic outside of work and keep cultivating the craft. A lot of people with the game industry, like, they get their job. It's a coveted job, you know, to them. The producers and other places at times can be toxic or not, and can convince artists that, like, you're really fortunate to get the job because everybody wants this job. So in your head, even if it's the first job, you know, your first job, it comes to the point where, like, oh, I've made it, you know, and, like, they just don't keep progressing the skills. Right. So a lot of these places in like a lot of game companies and stuff like that, in order to keep a pipeline in the way that it needs to be run, it's not a lot of new innovation at times. You know, it's maybe a happening between projects and they'll do some upgrading, but you're not upgrading software tools or practices and stuff like that in the middle of projects. So what happens is you can keep working on the same type of thing. You get a process down and you keep doing it for years, you know, sometimes, and decades, literally, for some people, so that, like, they get mediocre, they get complacent, you know. They spend 20 years at a place, and then all of a sudden when it's time to go, and they have to find something new, and they've realized that outside industry from where you are has changed significantly, it shows the real ones that they can either like buck up and find something new or have to change and do something else. And I kept seeing that as a recurring thing, even here in Chicago, as the market has changed so much, going from like 10 to 15 different places to like one or two, like those of us who like rise to the top and change and then like elevate and realize that like either you didn't start in this industry or your skill set allows you to be more than just that type of artist. You have to evolve, and those who are complacent and take corners don't, they end up trying to go and do other things or complain that they can't find something to do something. So the biggest thing from all the stuff we're talking about tonight is like got to keep evolving, and got to keep communicating and use collaboration for what it is. Collaborate, don't feel like it has to be a competition, because as you get better, as a team gets better, there's naturally people going to be better than you, and there's naturally people that are going to be not as good as you. So, if that's going to happen regardless, whether you're worrying about it or not, then I think you could be better off as an artist, And that's something I had to learn like a while ago, because you get to the point where you start looking online, you start looking at all the places, and you're like, man, I have to, But the coolest things I've seen with artists is like those who actually collaborate, and they generally like to talk and collaborate. And I think that came about a couple years ago when the whole sweep of Google Hangouts came out. That new technology forced artists to like us to use it as for podcasts, for other artists to come in and just collaborate from all over the world. I see it. I see when collaboration can help elevate artists. I think there's another artist that used to be on those hangouts and collaborating. Just got a job finally at another studio, and he's having to move. He was living in New York, and now he has to move somewhere else. So like everybody who really used it to like collaborate, that was in those early Facebook hangouts and stuff like that, and that talking 3-4 years ago. All those people have like gotten jobs that weren't getting jobs that were like 2 or 3 years without finding something, but they just trusted the process, of collaboration and getting better and not focusing on the competition part. But I guess there could be a healthy competition, right? There could be a healthiness in competition in terms of like keeping yourself relevant. So that you can be competitive in the marketplace in terms of like getting a job.
Healthy competition is really good.
I think we should say that too. Like, what do you guys think about that? Like, and what does that mean to have healthy competition as you look at your artwork and everyone else's? Like, what would you consider that to be healthy, or what? Yeah, what is that? What do you guys think that would be? A healthy dose of competition.
Yeah, in a weird way, I'd almost classify like healthy competition as collaboration. I think
right.
I think it's one thing to say collaboration is us both working on the same project to the same goal to try and get the same thing done. But I think it could really be classified as pushing each other to both be better for kind of the common good of making us both better, even if it's not necessarily on the same project.
Right.
Because in a way, that's what it's me seeing what you're doing and getting excited about that, and wanting to push myself to also be better. I think because when it devolves into just flat out competition that's not productive is when you're undercutting each other, you're stealing from each other, that type of thing. So
that makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, like even with you, Jack, like you have a lot of stuff going on outside of your 9 to 5, and like I know you've been collaborating. You showed stuff last time we were on the show about the stuff you've been working on. And I know that's with another guy you've been collaborating with. Like, what are some of the things you looked for when collaborating with like either your business partner that you work with there, and like, or when you and Carlos was collaborating? What are some of the main things that you look for? Is it just that does the other person get you inspired and excited, or is there other things? Is there certain things that you see in those artists that you can learn from? And is that it, or is it a combination of more things.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's multifaceted. I mean, I think one of the most obvious one is that if you feel inspired when you're working with this other person, which is strangely kind of harder to find than it sounds like. I think it's
I bet
it's one thing to just like lean back and just kind of spitball stuff and have like a nice dialogue, but to actually do that and then work on a project and try and go through the grind of what projects inevitably often become. There's usually a grind phase of each project, but to like work through that together and kind of help push each other, and like when one's not really feeling it, the other one's kind of there to help keep the motor going. And it's kind of that whole concept of kind of picking up where the other one's falling short, and when the other one's not really fully feeling it, pushing. And then even on the good days, it's kind of like really feeding off of each other, and amping it up and pushing you to a level that you wouldn't have otherwise been able to be at by yourself. And I mean, I do honestly think that there are certain things that you just simply can't arrive at if you're just working alone. Having a team member or somebody to bounce ideas off of just are kind of the only way to arrive at certain things. They help you, even if they're not doing a lot of the individual work themselves. Having somebody that can kind of think like you and kind of work in the same type of manner in which you do, but can come at it from a different perspective, therefore opening up a concept into a new way that you didn't think about before. It's just kind of bouncing it back at you is a really helpful and it's kind of hard thing to find. So I would say that type of collaboration is like a really special thing that I think doesn't happen that often in like a studio environment. I mean, I think the collaboration part in a studio is very much more regimented and kind of segmented. It's like, you have this person who's say, your art director, and that person who's, producer or whatever. And it's like, they're all kind of fitting in their roles. And it's because of the structure of the corporate environment, they don't tend to step out of those roles too much. But when you're working kind of one-on-one with someone or in a very small team, those kind of fun, organic parts of people's personalities kind of start to come out, and that's when you really find kind of like the interesting, best parts of collaboration.
Yeah, that's true, and I think that's why some people like working on smaller teams, and even with the wave of like how the indie market happened in the game development one. I think I was reading something the other day about a successful game that was coming out, and I ended up trying to search a little deeper about the team, and like ended up finding out there was a small team, or if it was a husband and wife team that was started just because like they found out through doing a couple sketches, and even that they liked working together a lot, even though they're married, so they liked each other, but like they found a new like inspiration with collaborating, and like they talk about how it helped their marriage and stuff like that, and like how both of them were able to feed off each other and grow even more, and they didn't even really ever think about doing a project together, or they wouldn't have known that type of collaboration could happen,
right?
Based on doing some type of project, because it is weird. With like Jack said, I've worked on an indie team before remotely, with different people, and it's interesting the different type of personalities that happens once you're working on something that's kind of like a labor of love, and everybody's there because they want to be there. It's an interesting, different dynamic than being at somewhere where everybody's paid to be there every day,
Yeah, that definitely brings, and I do think that you can have both. I think
for sure.
There's definitely projects where people are paid to be there, and yet it really is a labor of love, and the team's really connecting and kind of pushing the passion forward. I mean, unfortunately, I think those aren't less common than either of the other two options. But yeah, I mean, I agree. Obviously, when people are there out of passion and they're just really into it, that's kind of when you get the best collaboration. You really start pushing each other forward.
Yeah, and you might even say that's when, like, on the smaller teams, that's maybe like what makes a lot of different small teams where obviously everybody's paid to be there. Some of the best success stories when they're small, and like it's hard to keep that as they get bigger, you know, because you see a studio go from, you know, having a successful hit, you know, we could say game or movie or a short or whatever, and then that short gets picked up. That means they got funding, so they can bring on more people. And all of a sudden, it's like it's good, you know, the product, but it's not. It doesn't have that same je ne sais quoi, if you will, that it did when it was when they were little and they were like.
Well, a lot of that is when you're a small operation, you have a lot of leeway. And decisions get made like super fast. Because my first job out of school was at a video game company. And I could just walk into the boss's office and be like, hey, I think this, right? Whereas once you get into, like, say EA and the Disneys, because I know Sylvester is looking to get into Disney animation and stuff like that. The thing with them is they're so worried about wasting money on something that's not new.
Mm-hmm.
That's why you're seeing all the remakes of
different
IPs. They're coming out with the new
Aladdin
of Aladdin, right?
Aladdin, yeah.
So Aladdin is proven. So that Disney's not going to go and do, you know, some love story from West Side Chicago, because it's not a guarantee that they're going to get their money back from that, right? EA isn't going to make a video game that stretches too far from their current portfolio. They have to keep the stock holders happy.
It's the gift and the curse of growing. It's the gift and the curse of the way video games look now.
Right.
For everybody there, you can love them how they look. We can all at the rendering capability of all the new engines and all that good stuff. We can love how some of the great games like Last of Us and all these other episodic type of titles that come out, but with that merging of more movie-esque type of games that we play comes that budget of movie budgets. You know, some games have like insane budgets, and now there's too much risk, and we've lost a little bit of the cool factor of I'm going to make something you've never seen with just sound or something, you know, like something crazy like that you used to see in the game industry. And you still got those. You still have those rogues. You can still have those there, but like that's where it comes. That's why it is how it is in terms of like so close to the chest in terms of how much money and what type of thing. And you even see it in studios now. Now studios get eaten up by bigger studios, and they become what I like to call feeder studios. I wish this term would like kick off. Feeder studios, where like your studio used to be independent, used to be doing those things. They get bought out by a bigger studio, and now that studio does the multiplayer aspect for this bigger game that's ongoing and come out, you know. And the other studio does the single player, and the other studio does, you know, the downloadable content. And you're just a feeder studio at that point. Whereas before, it used to be got all these different studios, all these different games, all these different publishers who want to make different things. And now it's more like the age of like, you know, pushing it to a bigger machine, because that's what's going to sell. This game has come out. We've had this much downloadable content. We've had this much revenue come in from this. So we're going to keep adding on to it. It's like almost like the little bit of the like cash out Vegas mentality, like just keep feeding them the same thing, right. They'll like it, you know.
Right. And there's so I just picked up a new client today, actually, and we had a meeting today, and you know, through the conversation of trying to learn what this guy ultimately wants to do, his ultimate goal was to get bought out by a company that's kind of doing the same thing,
That's the goal, straight off.
Yeah.
Oh.
And before you think, and before you get surprised, I was going to say literally everyone, but it's not. The majority of the companies in Silicon Valley that are startups are waiting to get bought out by someone bigger. That's the game, right?
Okay.
So I start a company, and I'm working on this idea, and as the CEO, and a CEO that tells you, "Oh, I'm really passionate about this." No. He's really passionate about being successful so they can sell to Facebook, Google, Apple, something like that. Right?
Yeah.
Video game companies will do the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, I can't say all of them because
Yeah,
you just don't know. They're a lot. All of them is a lot, right? So,
Right.
but you might have some of them in there, some games, smaller game studios, like the guys that did Cuphead, right? I don't know if their ultimate goal, well, I listened to a few shows that they've been on. Their ultimate goal was to create a 2D game. But once you get in the game and you put in all that money, all that effort, all that time, you want the biggest reward possible.
Right.
So either you start your own game studio and you grow from there, or you get bought out and you become a feeder studio.
Cool. It makes sense. I mean, I guess it happens with apps and stuff too. Like, I guess that could backfire, right? So, like, case in point, you know, that I told you guys before the show about that Marco Polo app, which is pretty interesting. It's like a new version of like a Snapchat. But that brings me to Snapchat. You know, what was that, like half a year ago? They got offered to be bought out by
Instagram, Facebook. Yeah.
By Facebook. And the CEO made that decision that he said no, but it was for some crazy amount. Like, what was it? I think it was like $2 billion or something like that.
It was crazy. So
right, yeah.
This past weekend, I was hanging out with this guy who's a developer for Snapchat.
Nice.
And I said, "How you feeling about Instagram?" He goes, "I'm quitting on Monday."
Yeah, they're like, yeah. I think they're like bleeding, hemorrhaging money. I was reading a thing and we were talking about it at work. I looked it up a little bit. Like, yeah, because when they said no, then I think Facebook started developing their own version. Other places are like popping up as always, competition, right? And like now you ask yourself, okay, he could have got like $2 billion, maybe even kept an overseeing job, right? And then like or a good job, benefits and stuff like that. All your employees would have had really good jobs and benefits and stuff. Maybe I don't think it would be cutthroat and they all get fired, but like what do you do? So
but at the same time,
it's not yours anymore.
The majority of the developers are going to get fired anyway.
Right. So
they'll keep the top developers on that team. But the smaller developers
will get let go.
The mid to junior developers would be let go.
Yeah. So then what do you do? So did he make the right decision? I mean, we can't. It's kind of cheap to say hindsight now, but like
who Snapchat?
Snapchat, yeah.
It's hard to tell.
Right.
It's hard to tell because the thing is, the rough road to travel for Snapchat is you're on your own. So everything that you create, you have to it's either you're going to win big or you're going to lose big, right? Yeah. So all Instagram does is sit back and see what Snapchat is doing.
Yeah.
And the benefit for Instagram is their umbrella company is Facebook. So Facebook is going to keep them afloat. Yeah. So even if they do something goofy that doesn't quite work, they can always pull back and Facebook has their back. Right. Snapchat, if you come out with something that people don't like and then you're losing users by the millions, like when they redesigned their interface and no one liked it,
Yeah.
Like I went into the Snapchat app a few months ago, and oh no, if you swipe to the left, this happens. You swipe to the right, that happens. Up is something completely different. And I was like, you know what? Too much already. So I deleted it off my phone. I don't need that. If you want to see me, come on Instagram.
Come on a better platform.
Yeah. Yeah. So and did they make the right decision? I think they should have sold. But I think it depends. It depends on what that conversation was like, right? Because if let's say if Facebook wanted to buy you and you say no, that maybe you're waiting for Twitter to come up.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because otherwise,
Yeah.
selling is that. Oh, and this is another thing. I don't know. Okay, so Facebook is doing something. I'm so done with Facebook, for the record. So they did something else that's driving me crazy. How is it?
What they do?
How is it that you're going to give me? I'm watching a video that's 30 seconds, and then right in the middle of the 30-second video, you're going to give me a 45-second commercial.
I've heard about this. I haven't came across that yet, though. So bogus.
Now, Facebook needs to make their money back, right? Because every day, yeah, Sylvester said it right. Done with Facebook, same here. They have to make their money somehow, right? Because they betrayed the public.
Right.
And here's a shocker. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get anything free. We've said this on the show before. If you're not buying the product, you are the product.
Yeah.
So, so Facebook has to make their money back. So how do they do it? You sell ads.
And apparently with Portal.
And that
Portal?
Yeah.
Google.
Yeah. No. Facebook Portal.
It's Facebook Portal.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, here it is. I did a search on this a few minutes ago. Facebook Portal versus Google Home Hub versus Amazon Echo Show.
Oh, that's what the other one's called. Okay.
Yeah.
Echo Show.
Yeah. So now, okay. So we can now that I'm completely derailed. The one good thing about Echo Show is you put an outfit together and it'll give you a rating of what it thinks your outfit is.
What?
Okay.
Yeah. So
this thing
is going to tell you, oh no, girl, take that shirt off. You need to.
Is that based off of some sort of like image matching, or is it purely like what?
I don't know. I have no idea. I wish I cared enough about my fashion to.
Well, you can make that into a funny YouTube show where you wear the most ridiculous stuff and you're like, "What do you think of this, Echo?"
And she's like, 3 thumbs up. So yeah, anyway, Facebook needs to make their money back. And they're just like what people don't realize is YouTube is not making money either. As far as from the beginning of this year, YouTube hasn't been making money either. So now they're trying to figure out, Google's looking at YouTube like, all right, y'all, you guys got to come on. And that's when, you start to see the YouTube TVs. And now they have way more ads that you can't skip.
So did YouTube Red just not work?
I know 0 people that have YouTube Red or YouTube TV. 0. And I'm not saying that I have a large base of friends that I can ask, but literally no one. Let me say it like this. I know more people that download pirated movies than have, and I'm not one of them. I'm not. I like to keep my chi clear. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, for sure.
So I'm not trying to, and I'm not saying that it's too much work.
Too much.
I'd rather give you $5 and then call it a day, right? So,
Yeah. Yep.
so yeah, they're trying to figure out, and all these companies are doing it. Vimeo's doing it too. I don't know how financially successful Vimeo is, but they're trying to figure it out too. They have their memberships, and now I saw something new that they came out with. Oh, Vimeo's getting into stock footage.
Vimeo. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and here you go. If you're a content creator, if you are, if you're out there with your cameras and your drones and doing all kinds of stuff, you could possibly make money. That could possibly be an avenue for you to make money off of Vimeo, right? So, yeah. So all these companies are trying to figure out how to be successful. And it's funny because they all are looking the same.
Yeah. They all look too similar.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's no difference. There's really no difference between Facebook Portal, Google Home Hub, Amazon Echo. Apple has the Apple Home that you can talk to. I think it interacts with your iPad.
I think so. I think it does. Yeah.
Right. So yeah. Anyway, so I guess to bring it back to the discussion,
right?
Healthy competition would be for companies. For a company, healthy competition is kind of what they're doing. They all are no one's really changing the market, right? No one is doing anything that's crazy. However, yeah. However, we as the consumer, we benefit because all these companies are fighting for our attention. So they have to make something super cool, super nice, super cutting edge, and all this stuff.
Right.
We benefit from that
tremendously. Yeah.
I mean, it's like a huge gamble. I mean, remember Blu-ray and what was it? HD. What were those called?
Oh,
gosh.
What was that?
Laserdisc? No.
No.
No, it was a Microsoft.
Was that just HD? Or like something like
it was a type of peripheral.
Oh man. Well, anyway, I mean, it's kind of like that, right? You get a couple of companies. It's like when Betamax and VHS came out. It's the same thing. It's like these companies scramble to be the winner, and I guess we could assume there's only going to be one, maybe two clear winners. But these players have been around for a while now and are kind of the main guys. But who's to say that in the next year or two that Microsoft's not going to have one, and then HP's not going to have one. I mean, there's a lot of other tech companies out there that very well could just jump on the bandwagon, and then you got a billion different options.
Yeah. Trying to figure out who's that name that bothers me.
But as far as let's go back to hell, we can go all the way back to artists on Instagram. I don't know if, well, that might be a bad comparison because the same person can follow me, can follow Jack, can follow Charlie, can follow Sylvester, can follow Chris,
right?
Corey, right? So this in-demand world that we live in might be taking away from the competition, because it's I can watch Game of Thrones today.
Right.
And then when I'm done with that in a few days, I can just go and watch all of the Walking Deads. And so I don't have to, it's not like the old days where if you weren't in front of the TV at 5 o'clock, you just missed your favorite show. Yeah. Sony mini disc. Is that what it was?
It was. I think no, Sony's. Microsoft has their own.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that when you first brought this topic up, that's sort of what crossed my mind is that specifically in the independent artist field, and even somewhat the content field, it's like it's a little different because yeah, you're not like you only need one home device to control your home. You don't need seven, whereas most people don't have more than one cell phone. So it's like you're going to pick one, and then that's it. You're going to move on. And the only way the competitor is going to woo you is if the one you end up hating the one that you have, or they offer some amazing new feature that you want and don't have.
Right.
But it's like with art and content, it's like you don't have that. Like you're going to be consuming a lot of stuff, right? So, in some ways, it's naturally built into the artist community and the content community that we can. It's not fair to say that we can all succeed. I mean, that's like kind of a stupid notion, but it's certainly much more likely that there's going to be a lot more place for success, and we can all kind of push each other up. And yeah, I mean, you can follow 400 or 500 people. Mm-hmm. You can consume 400 or 500 different TV shows or books or whatever it may be. So I think it naturally is just a little bit more of a collaborative field.
Mm-hmm. And honestly, I really like where the art community is, because you're seeing way more sharing.
Yeah.
And not everyone is drawing like this, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's changed dramatically in the past 5 to 10 years. I mean, I think even when we were in school, that was a lot more common. And now in the age of social media, it's second nature to share stuff.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
Right.
And I think back in the day, that was like posting stuff up, forums and all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And just go on YouTube and do a search for drawing. Like, people are legit showing you basically everything.
Right.
And even some of the folks that are trying to they're trying to make money off of like drawing lessons and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Those are super affordable. And even if you didn't want to buy them, you could just go down probably a couple more search results, and you can see whatever you're trying to learn. Mm-hmm. You're going to see it there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was just talking about that today. One of the interns came to talk to me just about how to get started in my experience, and I was telling her the same story that I've told on the show, about how when I got started at Digital Domain, and like now, there was no YouTube and all that stuff. Like you had to kind of figure it out for yourself, or like wait for stuff in the mail, or go find some random textbook, or maybe if you're lucky, some obscure article online. But it's like, yeah, now, like you said, all you got to do is just type in what you're looking for. And people are so willing to share and have their stuff posted for free. They're just really excited to collaborate and get other people involved. And that's just like a really cool thing to see.
Right. For sure. Yeah.
You don't really see that in many other. Well, that's not true. I was gonna say you don't see that in many other fields, but I guess I was kind of specifically thinking, like we were just talking about, like all the Facebook and Google stuff. Like nobody's out there posting, like their plans and their patents on how to build an iPhone or whatever. But that's a pretty extreme case. I guess there is quite a lot of information on how to become an accountant, or how to, like, there's all that stuff is out there. Like people tend to be more sharing, I guess, now in the digital age.
Yeah.
And that might be more like individuals, right?
Yeah. I think so. I think it is.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I agree, with the exception of, let's see, with the exception of Apple has free how to program in Swift classes that you can take, right? Mm-hmm. But that's kind of a trick, because they want you to develop things for the iOS platform.
Oh, so they get you used to that.
So it's not, yeah. It's not that they're saying, "Hey, out of the goodness of our hearts, this is what you can. Here's how you can build your own iPhone."
Right.
They're not going to do that. What they are going to do is they're going to come up with little classes and stuff like that that gets you hooked on how easy it is to develop an application for iOS.
Right.
They were the first ones that started giving out free updates, free operating system updates.
Right.
Everyone, you remember that? You remember every year, every couple of years, you had to spend an extra $200, $250.
Scary, yeah.
Like, oh boy, how did we ever live through that stuff? Like, literally everything was, give me $500. Here's 20 CDs.
Right. And there'll be 20 more. There'll be 20 more tomorrow. Different.
And don't unplug anything because it's going to erase everything you got.
Yep. Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Sylvester has an interesting question.
Go for it.
What do you guys think is the future of artists? Like, now we have so much information. It seems everybody wants to become an artist. What do you think is going to happen in the future career-wise?
I think go ahead.
No.
Get up on that.
No, I definitely think the number will still keep growing. What I think was going to happen is, how that number grows and how we do art will change and progress. You know, I don't think art will become easier. That's another notion I've read lately on the other discussions, because I just think that like how do I put this? It'll become more. I mean, I guess is it more available or more accessible to more artists earlier on? Mm-hmm. That's what it is. Yeah, more accessible to artists earlier on. You know, that's what I think will increase the entry to get in, if that makes sense for some, you know. And I can't elaborate on that later, but like I think that's one of the main things that happen in the future for artists. You know, like there's so much information out there, whereas a lot of things came up to like experience and trying and failing, that like I'm amazed every day at how much more information is there and how much more people or students or kids are learning that early on, where I was like, man, I didn't learn it till I was 20, 25, like,
right,
you know, or like, you know, we say it all the time with other programs and stuff, like we talk about Blender on here, and like my buddy Roosevelt teaches a class to, you know, students, all type of students at a local art center in the city, and like I watched those kids, you know, there's a girl there named Phoebe, and I watched her like pick it up, like something that was hard to do. Like we complain about the hotkeys and all that stuff, and I've watched these kids like pick it up in 2 weeks, without knowing. They're like, oh, I just thought this class would be cool, so we'll try it out. And then their stuff is actually pretty good. Like, where it's like pretty good, better than like freshman students I was teaching like 4 or 5 years ago. Same concept, and they're doing it with a program and with a hotkey map that's not necessarily standard across other 3D applications. And they're just kind of getting it, you know. And now I talked to him the other day, and he's got that same girl that was in a couple of his other classes. He keeps getting a lot of repeat students coming back because they take this class on Saturday mornings or Saturday afternoons, like outside of school, because they want to do it, you know, because they love the art. So he says he gets a lot of repeat people to come back, and then like even the girl that took it is now one of his aides and helps out in the class. Like, it's so crazy. It's so awesome to think that, like, you know, the information and the accessibility of programs like that are here now, and like thus is going to make those future artists in the future so much better than what they were now, you know. And maybe one of those will push the envelope and figure out something that actually will help push forward the, you know, the genre in general, you know.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No,
your turn.
I was gonna bumble around until I found a point. So I will let you go.
Okay, so
I was gonna get there. I just had to.
when we were younger, everyone was fighting for jobs for the big companies, for Disney, DreamWorks, for Blizzard, for whoever, right? For EA, right? But technology has given us the opportunity to build our own small teams, and everything goes through these cycles, right?
Oh yeah.
So you have a bunch of small companies
That's a good point.
that then grow up, and then they all eat each other up, and they become one big conglomerate,
Giant company.
Yeah.
and then like currently technology has made it to the point where we can have a TV show. The three of us are in three completely different locations. We see small groups of people coming together to do children's books, to do animation, to make games, to do all that stuff, right? So everything is coming back down to smaller teams, and everything is super accessible to everyone.
Right.
And the mixed blessing that is YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff, right? The mixed blessing is we're able to create this stuff and get the content out. So
To the people.
yes. So we don't need to fight and scrap, and if we have a story to tell, it's
Tell it.
accessible.
Yeah.
Tell it.
Yeah, just tell it.
So to specifically answer his question, Sylvester, I think it's going to be easier for artists to create and to even make money. But with what is it? Spider-Man said, with great responsibility, or with great power comes great responsibility.
He drops the quote. Yes.
Yeah. So we have Creative Cloud CC. We
Right.
have a free version of Sketchbook. We can create this content, get it out there. But the thing is, you got to make sure that it's legit.
Right.
With so much content that's going out there,
Mhm.
and you're hitting so many different people with this content,
There's so much
be good.
information. Yeah.
it's got to be good.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, what you don't want is your name associated to trash.
Right. Right. It's just trash.
You trash.
It's just trash. No. Yeah, you don't want that.
So-
There's no excuse.
Right.
There's
So
information.
if you
there.
mess around, let's just say you get out there and you start working, and then you get the privilege of going to DreamWorks or Disney or anything like that, and you say, "Oh yeah, my name is Carlos," and they're like, "Are you the Carlos that did that stupid trash cartoon?
Trash. Did that trash.
Did that trash.
That hot trash?"
You didn't do that. You didn't do this, right? Pull up your YouTube page.
No, that wasn't me. That was
That'd be mortifying.
the other Carlos
Yo, ain't this
Gomez,
your picture right here?
which is
You know how
good
many
because there's a lot of other Carlos Gomez.
Sure is.
But you know how many Charlies there is? That's not me, bro. Got that common
That's not
name.
me, bro. But yeah,
No,
I think
it's like information is there, so the barometers can be a little bit higher in terms of that. But the accessibility of being an artist is easier, which is great if for all the artists that want to be artists and all the aspiring artists that are there.
And I
But
think this is to go back to an earlier question. How is there healthy competition? Healthy competition is being able to see what's out there.
Yes.
And actually, now you know the level of quality that's out
There
there.
it is.
So if you come out with something that's hot trash that doesn't even compete with that, and that person who's creating quality content
Right.
is trying to get
Ooh,
into Disney and DreamWorks and all that stuff,
speak on it.
you know you know that that's the level that at least the level that you need to be at.
Yo, this you're making such good points. I think the key thing you're saying with that is self-aware, right? So because a lot of artists I feel aren't self-aware about their artwork early on. Like they don't know if they suck or they don't know if they're good. And like that healthy competition Carlos was talking about, that we've been talking about, is becoming self-aware and knowing your surroundings, right? Knowing where you are as an artist, knowing where the current climate is in the industry or whatever industry you're trying to get into, and knowing how to get there based on the information that's readily available. You know, it's like three big things they're with that, you know, and healthy competition allows you to do that.
Read what Long Arm said.
No, that was Schmarlos.
Good. You know, that's the key thing you said there, Carlos, there is being aware. Because I think what makes new artists and what makes, you know, upcoming juniors and upcoming seniors and people about to graduate, and you know, the people that are grinding online with their YouTube channels and trying to get on, you know, the people that are like, you know, camping outside of Jack's house and stuff and trying to get jobs, all those people that are trying dude turned around. Well, to me, I need the ding dong. Anyway, although you still have that soundbite. Wow. All those people, what pushes you through to get you to the next level is your self-awareness, or how soon you become self-aware of how good your art is on a personal level and how people view your art, and then what does it take to make that art better, right, you know, so that you can get something new. I mean, I think I went through it when I was in school. Jack went through it. Carlos went through it. Like everybody, artists in the chat has gone through it, you know, like, because I think there was early on, like for me, it was early, like freshman year, sophomore year, of like looking online, being on the forums, and realizing I can vividly remember sitting in a lab and being like, not talking to anybody, just being like, holy crap, there's a lot of good people out there.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about my school. And when I thought about that, like where I had friends that were really good at school, I had other classmates that were decent, but in my head personally as an artist, I was like, none of y'all are better than these people in this forum right here. And that's what I put my goal toward, was like outwardly, like the actual collective community of artists, like and like put my goals of being that good at art. I think it elevates your thinking of, like, not in a bad way, but in a self-aware way of like, man, I really need to get better at drawing, or I really need to get better at this aspect, or I really need to get better at just being responsible and like being organized, you know, and like, and then I think you learn even more when you get your first job, like your very first job, because I think that kind of awareness in school or as you're getting on is different from that first time you sitting at your desk that you're getting paid to be at and be like, I really need to get better. And I don't know, maybe it's just me. Maybe I just had these little like,
and
talks sitting there.
Not even just that, because you have to work your butt off to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
And if you get there and you take your foot off the gas.
Yeah. I mean, I can vividly remember the first week of me being at EA, thinking like, okay, cool. It's the whirlwind, you know, all the interviews and all this stuff and the art tests and stuff like that. It was cool. I was like, cool. I was happy to be at one of those other places, like, you know, get your foot in the door. You work there. You know, I never in my life thought I'd be at a really big place to start off with, and like where everybody else had 10 years on me, literally.
Yeah.
Like I'm like the only one that hadn't been around for 10 years. And they stuck me on that team, on the second team I was on after being on the Fight Night team and then going to the Marvel team, and literally feeling like a kid, like was called a kid on purpose because like 23, 24, 25, whatever. And everybody else is like 37 or so, whatever, you know, been working since coin op days or whatever. And I kept having that, like, I need to get better. like in my head, like, what the am I doing? or then they start getting new talent in, and like the person next to me did the effects on like the Matrix, and like, oh, I did that scene where Trinity jumped through the window. You did what? Why am I here? Like, like, why am I here? Like, having that self-awareness, like, and I still think I did some of my best work there, but like at the same time, it's like, as an artist, you have to stop back and be like,
yeah,
hey, God, hey, self, let's have a talk. You really kind of not where you need to be. And even if you are where you need to be, I feel like having that idea that like,
always
I'm not,
Yeah.
and like, oh, what episode is it? All right, go back, everybody in the chat, go back and look for Jack's episode where we were like interviewing Jack, and Jack had that like moment of like, I'm just gonna have to figure this out with this thing. Like this is my favorite episode of late, because I never heard that story. Where Jack is like, yo, I'm just gonna read this manual at work.
I was literally just telling that story today to this intern. I think having a sense of like being humble will work for you and your benefit, and even in the long term, no matter how much you've advanced, no matter where you're at in your career. I think always checking yourself at the door and I think this is where the three components of everything we've just been talking about kind of come in. I think step one is, to evaluate the industry that you're in and go out and just see what your competition is, see what everybody else is doing, see what the level of expectation is, so that you know what you're up against and what level you need to be at. But then, the danger, what we were talking about with that is that can lead you to just becoming a copycat or just kind of following in the trend. So then the task is to like, how do you evaluate yourself and deliver what the market kind of wants and what's the accepted level of quality, but do something new. I mean, it's always that kind of checking yourself at the door, like a reality check of seeing, this is what the industry expects. And even if I can deliver that, like Charlie said, if I'm not there yet and like, what am I doing here? Like, I need to get to that level and keep pushing. Mm-hmm. If you sort of are there, then maybe you need to be like, well, how do I do something new? How do I not just make another Facebook portal? How do I do something totally out of left field that just shatters the industry and is awesome? Because there are going to be those moments where you are reality check like to the 10th, where you're just like, oh man, how did I get here? And those are the moments that I think really test most people and test artists, and that's where you see if you're really wanting to do this.
Sylvester had a crazy question. That was great.
Question for Charlie. What do you think Marvel needs in their portfolio? That would be dream come true for me. Plus, it's owned by Disney. If I can get an idea, I can start preparing. I meant requires for a portfolio. Oh, requirements for draw, dude. Just keep drawing. He actually asked a really good question way earlier. I'm scrolling through to see.
Drawing, yeah.
Is every artist going to create a world in virtual reality for people to live in?
No, that was one before that, I think. The Marvel one, though, I'm assuming he's talking about comic book industry, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's a multifaceted question because Marvel's got so many sectors now. There's the comic book part, there's the film part.
Yeah.
Here we go. This is the one that I want to talk, because it actually makes sense with what we're talking about now. It said, this was a long time ago, though. He said, I have a question for someone who wants to get into an animation studio, but not really sure what animation studio to work for. Maybe I just want to work with like-minded people. That's kind of what we've been talking about. Collaborate with like-minded people. Number one. Get together with some people, and you have to be careful because everyone wants to work on a project together until it's time to work on a project together.
That is just so true.
We can put that quote.
I'm sorry.
all my friends, let's start putting quotes on maybe Instagram or something like that, black and white pictures with the words over it. And that's one of the quotes that I think of every time Carlos talks, because he said that so many times. Did I put that quote with you? You're like, everybody wants to work on something. Do they want to work?
And the other one is no one wants to be the artist until the artist shows up, and then all of a sudden everyone knows color theory. But no, so what you do is, again, the technology is there. You go out. Okay, so here's your battle plan, Sylvester. This one's for free. Thank you for following us. Number one, go to things like
everything prior to this. He's charging you for it.
Anything after this comment is
this is a 14-day trial. But right, the next question.
That's right. This is free with YouTube Red, but no. So look, this is the battle plan, right? So you wanna get your name out there. So what you do is you draw. Number one, draw as much as you can. Just draw, get better, right?
Is that a Mark Kistler reference?
Yo, Zach, this is why I like you. Thank you. I'm so sorry, Carlos, but still be on my little. Oh God.
Draw.
Right. So you want to draw and post. Don't post so much on Instagram that, because I've been guilty of this. I'm like, I'm just going to create content, and then the quality of my content suffered. Take your time, make some fire, and then post that, and be consistent with the quality, because quality is what's going to get you in the door. Quantity comes out later, because the more you draw, the faster things come out, right? So draw and post. Now that you have your Instagram, now you have a lot of really quality content on Instagram. Now what you do is you go to things like Ground Zero Animation Expo. Go to whatchamacallit, the one that's happening in November. Not Ground Zero, but the other one. CTN. You go to CTN and always have your stuff ready for people to see, right? So now what you're doing is you have quality content. Now you have to inject that quality content into the not the atmosphere, but the people, that the like-minded people, right? So you're trying to build your own community. Every once in a while, you're going to be able to you'll meet some friends that might be down for doing special projects together. So you make special projects, and then you do those things, and that quality content will then become your portfolio. So now you have quality content with a network, and then you're going to be, and this is more than anywhere else that I've worked, in Hollywood, in film, in LA. Let me say, in LA, the network is so incredibly important, because one person gets a job, they bring everyone with them. And that happens in LA more than I've ever seen anywhere. So then you network and you create quality content. And then what happens is, while you're creating quality content and you're creating these animated shorts, or you have an idea for a series, a cartoon or whatever, the really cool thing that can possibly happen is you have all of this content, and someone like a Netflix says, "Hey, I saw that cartoon that you did. Can we build on that?" And there you have it.
And then you pull a Snapchat and you tell them no, but I'll build it for you.
Yeah.
No, I was kidding. No, that's good. That's totally good. And like one of those things Carlos said too was like, making sure your content's quality. Another way you could do that in terms of like posting, instead of posting to your Instagram, or your portfolio, because the Instagram's kind of like your front stage or whatever, if that's what you're using it for, is you can network online through. There's so many different types of groups online. There's so many different types of Facebook groups. There's some for illustrators, for drawers, for concept artists, for 3D artists, you name it. There's those. That's one place. Forums and stuff online are still a thing, and they're still a thing for artists. Stuff like so. There's like different concept art forums. There's different Reddits and all these other places where people are posting work and people are getting feedback and stuff like that. There's online hangouts and stuff like that. There's websites, there's major websites that has communities connected to them also. So there's places where you can post your work and get instant feedback on it. There's places like ArtStation and stuff like that where you can post your work in terms of a portfolio type setup or Instagram type setup that'll get you seen too. But the key thing there, me saying all these different places, is like find a group, like you said, with like-minded people. And like I said, right now, off the top of my head, I would think that the Facebook groups are doing really well with that, where they've taken the place of like forums a little bit on the internet, or there's YouTube communities, there's Discord communities through YouTube, where you can post work and get feedback, right? Where it's like we could post your work in progresses and stuff like that. You get your eyes on a bunch of different artists, and you can learn how to disseminate through the BS and pull out the really good critiques and stuff like that. And there's still places like Polycount and stuff like that, which is another good forum for not just 3D art and game art, but I think they have 2D sections and other things. There's Red, what is it called? It's not Red Scarlet. It was
I know what you're talking about. And I can't
Scarlet Red. Whatever, that one was started by a illustrator, and like he has a really strong community online where you can post up your drawings and stuff and get feedback, and that's going to help you get better as an artist, so that when you do post to your Instagram and stuff like that, that quality part of your posting will come through. But find an online thing. There's local things called drink and draws and stuff like that you can go to.
Yep.
That allow you to then show off your work and get better and stuff like that. Obviously, all the Comic-Con conventions, all the regular type of conventions where there's an artist alley. I made a joke about artist alley earlier tonight, but where there's artist alley and stuff like that, where you can get critiques and stuff like that. You want to get your stuff in front of a lot of different people and get a lot of different critiques and get a lot of different people telling you your stuff looks like crap, so that like you know how to deal with that, so that when you have a director later on that tells you it looks like crap, or you have a lead or something like that says you should do this and it'll make it look a little bit better, or give you constructive criticism, you know how to like shake that stuff off and it won't even affect you. You just be like, cool, I'll just try a different way to build up your tolerance, because a lot of times young artists don't have good tolerance with that stuff.
One of the things that you kind of touched on is go to these drink and draws, go to these networking events that don't cost much, if anything at all, because there's like there's a lot of folks out here that draw very well, but some of them are dicks.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of folks that would rather work with someone that's talented, maybe not as refined as that one person, but that one person has a really bad attitude. So they'd rather get the talented person that's not quite refined, because you can refine that, but a bad attitude will knock you right out of the game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, so you can look at all those places and do all those things. You have to.
No worries, Sylvester. Whenever you make it, remember, I need a job.
Sketchstone got you started. Now give me a job.
Yeah. Sketchstone job market, or what is it? The job fair.
Sketchstone job market. Somebody's gonna take that. Cool. Yeah. Good. That's good. Some nuggets.
All right.
Some jewels.
Did we hammer that to death?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it.
But I have a question for Jack.
For me?
Yes.
What's up?
Please tell me about the new live action Lion King.
I don't know that much about it. I just saw that Disney's remaking pretty much everything they've ever done as live action. And we just talked about how they released the Aladdin trailer.
Yeah.
But the Lion King one, they're going all in on that one. They released
It's not voice acting, right? It's like live action.
Okay,
That's what I want to know.
They haven't even released info about that yet. But
Cheeky
the
bastard.
rumor, I think, is it's going to be kind of like Jungle Book, where it's super
voiced.
realistic animals with voices.
All right.
But that cast list, though,
That cast list.
we got Donald Glover coming in as Simba. We got Beyonce as Nala. We got James Earl Jones coming
Mufasa.
back as
Simba.
Mufasa. I hope I didn't see what they had. They didn't have Jeremy Irons as Scar. They probably swapped him out for a black actor. But the only white guy in there is John Oliver as Azu.
Yo. Every time you say that, it makes me laugh because I see his face. Yelling at Simba. Like, this would be great. Dude's an amazing person. I just want to know what kind of stuff, because I was like, Donald Glover, you get to. If it was live action, I was like, you get to make out with the queen.
Right?
I'm like, do you understand? He's a rapper too. Do you understand how nervous if I was him I'd be if I had to, like, if Beyonce was my co-star? And if it's a live action one, that's weird though. I can't. It can't be a live action. If they turn it into some like,
that's what it is.
But if it's people,
no, it's gonna be like animals.
Okay, so it'll be like the Jungle Book. Yo, who's directing? So. Who's directing? Jon Favreau. I like him as a director. I don't know.
He's pretty amazing.
I think he's underrated.
I saw him live at Adobe Max last year. He's one of the most successful chill dudes I've ever.
It is Jon Favreau.
Yo,
hell yeah!
Call that. Yes, it just felt right.
Just felt right to say that. Have him do the Jungle Book and do Lion King?
Because they want the same quality. You guys know, chat.
Who's playing the genie?
Look, that's what I need. The more you talk about it, the more Charlie's like, "Yes, I have."
Oh no! Wait, there's another white guy.
Yeah,
Pumbaa.
Dude, I caught.
Who's playing Pumbaa?
Who's Pumbaa?
Will Smith is a genie.
Rogen.
Will Smith is who?
The genie?
No, he said, "I hope Will Smith is the genie."
Yo, that's stupid.
Oh.
He'd be like Hitch in a bottle. That'd be weird.
No, Seth Rogen is Pumbaa.
Nice.
Okay, I can see.
I'm
that
not sure
one.
about that one.
Who's Timon?
Don't know. Billy Eichner.
Who the hell is that?
Look at Charlie's like, I have no idea who that is. Will Smith is a genie. Yes. Boom!
Will Smith is a genie. What? In what movie?
Aladdin.
Will Smith is not the genie.
What? That's what everyone in the chat room is saying. Aladdin live.
Yo, I have less. No, I can't. I don't know. You can't, yep. Corey, you got to.
Will Smith is the genie.
Yo,
Naomi Scott is Princess Jasmine.
Who is?
Naomi Scott.
Who's that?
I don't know. You couldn't let me slide through that one.
Damn. Yo, Corey yelling at me. Tell me to look it up. Fine.
Is an English actress, and she's known for starring as Kimberly Hart in Pink Ranger. Oh, the Pink Ranger.
Oh, whoa. Wait a minute.
She was also Maddie Shannon in the science fiction drama series Terra Nova.
Not the blonde Pink Ranger. Are you serious? Oh, no. Or in the new Ranger movie.
I don't know. I'm a grown ass man watching Power Rangers.
Well, they're movies now. They're movies now, and I'm just thinking.
Yeah,
I hope she's.
She's
not white.
Is Aladdin?
Who's Kimberly Scott? Where's this movie at?
Doesn't matter. Let's move on.
The screenplay is by Guy Ritchie.
Yo, do you feel?
By Guy Ritchie.
Are you for real?
Do you feel, Jack? Do you feel confident about this movie? No. Be honest.
No,
I didn't think so. Will Smith is a genie. Come on, guy.
I have confidence in Lion King.
Yeah, I do too.
Given the cast and Jon Favreau. But Aladdin, I don't know, man.
Yeah, Corey, you can't tell me you have confidence in there. Yeah, grown ass man.
It's
Corey,
and it's gonna be
Tell me to
tough.
look that up. I don't need to look that up right now. That sounds like a hot mess.
And I'm
I'm
sorry,
saying-
but it's gonna be tough to compete with Robin Williams. He
Has
made
Will
made
Smith
that
as a
role.
genie?
Yeah.
Really? Really?
Anyway.
Like
Yeah.
you know what they're gonna do to that song? They're gonna turn it into a rap.
But at the same time, do you think like Will Smith might be like won't he be 3D?
In West Agrabah, born and raised
You stupid.
in a sand dune where I spent most of my days.
Chilling out, maxing, relaxing.
All right,
Cool.
let's move on from this dumbness.
You know they're gonna make it a rap.
Jack said, "We're done."
Yo,
I can't anymore.
yo, he Academy
All right,
Award
y'all,
me.
it's that time of day. We're gonna
He
go
Academy
ahead.
Award me and pull the music in over my.
I did.
All right, we're gonna take a look at my homie, Chris Murray.
This is your homie, you know him?
You know him?
Get him on the show.
I met him today.
Get him on the show.
Yeah, he's down for coming on the show.
All right then.
And
All right.
hopefully
Wow. Good
next
work.
week. He's in Philadelphia though, so you know how that works.
Good work.
What are you trying to say about Philadelphia?
I'm saying that they're in a completely different time zone, and my man might not want to do a show at midnight. That's what I'm saying.
Oh.
So anyway, yeah, his work is legit. Shout out to my baby brother, Sean Doe. He's the one who introduced us. Yeah. Dude is legit. And it's things like this. Like I can't tell if that's Photoshop, Illustrator, combination of the two. It might even be what's that that one iPad program?
Procreate?
No, the other one.
Oh, yeah, Affinity.
Infinity. Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Chris B. Murray.
Chris
Yeah.
Murray.
So Sean was like,
Look
yo,
at that.
Sean was like, yo, you got to take a look at my man's stuff. And then I did, and it was legit. And I was like, yeah, we got to get this kid on. So yeah, he's got Black Charlie Brown. That bat though. So yeah, this is when Venom and Kanye got together. Stickers, Rap Kings.
I heard that subtle.
Yeah, Charlie's 100% done on Kanye. But yeah, his work is, it's interesting because it's super sharp edges, but everything is so rendered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Um,
cool look.
Good description.
cool technique.
Yeah. That's crazy right there.
You gonna catch this L? So I'm gonna scroll just a little bit. There's little tiny babies and stuff. Michael never really did come back down from that
That's
jump.
good. Good job. That's Mac Miller. That's a good one. The guy in the yellow face is Mac Miller. He just recently passed.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, he just
Yeah.
died a couple weeks ago.
Oh, it's okay.
Which I would say if you haven't.
Wait,
heard-
are those
Look
pins? Did he make pins out of those little?
Yeah, I think so.
I
Yeah,
want that Biggie
Yeah.
pin. Hang on, click on that.
that Biggie pins.
Yeah.
Legit.
Yeah, but there was on pinned on a shirt or something.
Yeah, that was a jacket over here.
Are those for
somewhere.
real?
Yeah, I think so. So-
There it is. That's cool.
And another one. He has a store. It's
Mhm.
cbmartworks.storeenvy.com, I believe. While we're here, let's just take a look.
Take a look.
CBM Artworks.
Damn you, Instagram. So anyway,
Instagram,
there's
Instagram.
stuff like this. that I'm just like, yo,
Crazy.
That's like one of those 80s action figures.
this is dope.
That is cool. That's really nice color. God, that's just good all the way around.
Oh, man, that's really good.
What else? You can't go too far without your little farmer tan. Yeah, and I like how like all of a sudden just he throws in something.
Those like limited color palette ones are really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a couple pieces that I saw down here that I wanted to bring attention to. Yeah, stuff like this is legit.
That's like some James Jean stuff.
Look at, see what I mean? Look at. Dude.
Wow.
Come on, dude.
Good design.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so check him out. I want to make sure that I've shown everything that I wanted to show. Look at. Boy. Sketch wallet. Come on, son.
Speaking of, don't forget about your chance to win a sketch wallet.
Yep.
That's right. Look at. See what I mean?
Good stuff.
It's an orange. It's a fish. I thought it was her eye when it was small, but it wasn't. It's a fish.
Wow.
So yeah, check him out. Instagram.com/Chris CHRIS B, the letter B, Murray MURRAY. Chris B. Murray.
Nice. Thanks. Good shit.
Yeah.
Chuck. Get up
Yes.
on there.
Let's go. Here we go. Do, 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 do. I got a good one this week.
Hockey.
Participation. Oh, I thought I already hit the button. Cool. Share. All right. Let's go ahead and
Art
make
Station. That's a lot of Spider-Man.
Yeah. Boom.
Somebody working
All right.
on Spider-Man.
The guy's name this week is Blake Rottinger. He is from Sydney, Australia. Shout out to Australia. Yeah, he's a concept artist. So he worked on Marvel Spider-Man lately. I think this is the game. Yeah, this is the game. I've been playing through that lately. Slim pickings right now was coming out because things are few and far between in that industry, but like what you call it? Who's the people? Not PSYOP. It's
Oh, speaking of games.
anyway, I don't remember who it was that made it.
Real quick, speaking of games, everyone, Google is trying to make Chrome be the next video game portal, I guess. Or
Yeah, you can be able to play through your browser. Yeah.
yeah. And they have a game called what was it?
From Ubisoft. It's
Assassin's
Assassin's
Creed.
Creed series. Yes, Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
So
Maybe
do
the
a
first game.
do a search for that because they're looking for beta testers. Oh yeah, I'm one of them.
Ooh, you got in already. Good.
Yeah, buddy.
All right, now get me in. Cool. Yeah, so the new Spider-Man game that was made by Insomniac. It's really good. It's really good. Classic, old school, really good. Spider-Man game's been a thing, but that caught my eye. But what caught my eye after I came to his page was his deep portfolio of stuff. So let's look at some of this stuff. Check on the rooftop stuff. Everything's very cinematic, and just beautiful looking. Some of the things, If I can go here, can I go full screen with this guy?
Yep,
Can you guys see that? Can you see that?
it's a little pixely on my end, but it might just be me.
How about now?
Pretty good.
Cool. It's just beautiful stuff, and all the different scenes are like this, so you get these like some of these vertical stuff and you got the wide stuff, and it just makes for an interesting interesting take on New York City and all the different parts. It's just really good. Yeah, so this is from the game, and the game itself the story feels really good. So besides having the freedom to like web and sling around everywhere, like he does a really good job of like painting all his stuff. And Jack and Carlos can speak to these things. They do a lot of that, a lot of painting and stuff. But like he does a really good job of painting his stuff in a way that's like shows off a lot of really good depth of field. So like all his paintings look like they're like taken by a camera. So it is a hybrid. If you look at it really closely here, you see how this looks really, really chunky and pixelated. You could definitely tell it's like matte paintings and it's like photo bashing and a bunch of stuff together. But to do that in a way to make this is our take on the Avengers tower in New York City in the Spider-Man world. That's really cool because like if you really want to start like zooming in on stuff, like this is like really chunky. You could tell this is from some other picture. This is definitely from some other picture. These windows here. Look at the way this is like patched together here, and it's all like kind of crude. Like that is super pixelated. This is crazy pixelated. It's almost comical, funny, but it works because he's just trying to get a notion of this is like totally like super pixelated and cut out to make this runaway type deal. So it kind of a good exercise in like kit bashing things, photo bashing things together and to sell an idea. And this is like something you just give your 3D artist or whatever like that. They wouldn't use this any, but they would use the idea and look at it as reference and make something amazing off of it. But like it's interesting how he did this because you could definitely see where he's like photo bashed a lot of this stuff together. Like look at this. You can tell this is some skyscraper probably from Dubai or somewhere, and he like he kept duplicating. I love this type of like I love matte painting and getting into that type of things and stuff like that and compositing and stuff like that. It's one of my guilty pleasures. But like I love seeing this because like this guy I fell in love with because I knew he wasn't leaving it to. It's almost a little bit more crude than some of the other ones I've seen, which is not a bad thing for sure. I'm not knocking them for that at all, but like I love it because I love seeing process stuff. So that's why this is really, really nice. Go back, reset this so you can get the back. Be back. There we go. So it's kind of cool. You can see it here, and now once you see it everywhere. Like look at this. This robe is literally cut out from some probably like Crate and Barrel magazine or something like that, and like. But the cool part about it is like how this stuff is rendered. Like you could tell that the floor is shiny and has reflections in it. And like, look, this has a reflection of the toilet and all that stuff in it. It's just the little things here, guys. And like this is what it means to be like a concept artist. He definitely has his own style, and that's what I applaud him for with this. Right? It's not so much of like very painterly things, but like, boy, does he like. I'm sure his references are like deep. It's like. I feel like pulling all this stuff together and making it look this detailed, his
Pinterest board must be crazy.
Yeah, I'm saying like there's a lot of like photo bashing that has to take place for each. It's almost exhausting. I'm talking about it now. And I don't know where to go because there's so much stuff I see that is clipped together that like I want to be like, dude, how long does it take you to put a picture like this together? Is it like 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours? Like. You got to be like, because he's pumping out so many pics. Like, and remember, like, concept artists for games, a lot of times, like, they're the idea guys at the studio, right? They get the coveted positions where they're sitting around and drawing all day or doing stuff like this all day. But at the same time, they have to kick out every single part of the game and have some type of like visual appointment to it. That's the biggest thing with this. So, like, a concept artist can go through, and if a 3D artist or environment artist gets these two scenes, because you got to do the whatever these guys' names, the Tombstone's hideout, right? For me, I have everything I need. If I got to sign this, I have everything I need. I don't need to look at anything else, really. Like I can look at reference of other things and I could hire help. But if I had these two things, there's enough stuff in here where I'm like, okay, good. That's like one of those letter opener things. That's like the wall's gonna be like painted with white paint, but distressed, and very grungy and dirty. There's a bunch of bikes laying around. These like old school leather chairs. It's in every video game, I feel like. these type of chairs. It's like somebody's done it at one point in time, a normal map for those. But like, you know, you got this here, which feels like it spills elements of the Walking Dead. Not Walking Dead. What is it? What's the other movie?
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad. But like, look at this. Look at the cutout. He didn't even care about how stuff's cut out. Like this is the biggest thing why I like this dude. Like it's so like rough, but works. You know. I don't know. You know, so it's like a bunch of different things here, but it's only for concept, so it doesn't matter. And he has some other really cool stuff outside of the Spider-Man stuff, which is really cool, and that's what I like. Just so you know, I think he still has a level of painter in him, and I think that's why he can do that. And I heard a couple other concept artists that work in film said also that even though a lot of guys can get patch like this, they still have a level of, you know, they know how to paint, they know how light works, you know, and like atmosphere and mood. Oh, there it is. That's a good one too, because that one shows off, you know, where he's using some 3D elements here too, right? So look at these. This is how like simple the 3D stuff is, and then like he paints over all this stuff to make it look cool. Which, as an artist here, like, you know, having to like texture this is one thing, but like that's pretty daunting if I had to do that in Photoshop. You know, every single part of it so that it looks good. Like, I wonder how long. I still really want to know how long a picture takes. I love the water in this one too. You know, this one's kind of cool for that one. But yeah, this is the guy's name is Blake Rottinger. You know, it's like really cool like exploration and like matte painting, and he gives a breakdown with this here how he started, and then, you know, performance and what he got to. I've been trying to force myself to start with sketches and then transition to 3D. The terrible 3D scene I modeled, hoping to get better at this step. So he doesn't know 3D as much. He's learning it. I love that. Yeah, I love that. Like, he's trying to get better at the 3D stuff so it can help him out. Because I feel like you could become limited based on
just relying on photo bashing stuff.
If you can't find that one perfect reference to get you started. But it seems like he has a lot of different stuff here. But yeah, he's definitely taking that skill and running with it. But yeah, cool. That's who he is.
Cool. Thank you, sir. Jack is ready to go.
All right. So I got two because one is not really an artist. It's a community I want to share, but I'll do my artist first. This guy just cracks me up. So he does these H_Tabasi, Hadi or Hadai. But he's been working on this game, which I'm super excited about and want to play. Because look at the loops, these hand-drawn loops that are in this game. This old man.
Oh, no.
And look at him get rid of his cane and realize he can walk fine. This just cracks me up.
Ooh.
Oh.
Snap it.
Eats it. Oh gosh.
And then he can bounce away. I don't know what this is, but it's awesome. It's a game called
Superman.
Flipping Phillip, which also has its own handle, and you can see the progress of what this game is going to be. It looks pretty awesome. It's super early. Super early in development, but
oh man,
that's really cool.
It looks like it's going to be brilliant. But he's also got some other cool stuff if you scroll back prior to his game work. Just like a really, really good diverse style. He's got some good sense of color and treatment, style treatment. I think we actually I shared this with Carlos at one point. It's really bizarre run cycle of this. Yeah. But he does everything from kind of like Shiloh style, nicely rendered characters to like super bizarre, like, you know, cartoony stuff. But his little looping game animations are kind of what caught me. Yeah, check him out. He is H_Tabasi. And then speaking of loops and animation, I don't know how I missed this community. I don't know how I didn't know about it before. But if you have not yet found Loop de Loop, it is a community that, similar to back in the day, there was a thing called 10-Second Club and some of these other ones. So Loop de Loop is a thing where they give a theme each month, just a single word theme, and then people are supposed to submit animations based on it. And it's animators from all over the world, you know, various degrees of skill level and discipline. And they range everywhere from, like, some people spend, you know, this is like a, 2-minute long animation, but it does loop. He comes back to sitting in the seat. Some of them are just like 5-10 second loops.
That's cool.
But it's really cool. There's like such a diverse range of skills and like how polished they take them. You know, it's just really cool to see the diverse selection and also just get inspiration if you're into animation. And of course, and then they actually do. The cool part is they actually do screenings. They have like a whole film festival style thing where they do screenings of some of the shorts and they give out awards and stuff. Like this one's super polished, like finished work. And then it loops again. This poor kid's forever getting haunted. Had some good sound if you guys can't hear it. So check them out. It's loop.org. And you can totally get involved and submit your own. But there's been some like really high profile animators on here too. So check it out. It's a cool place for inspiration.
Very cool. Yeah.
You're the inspiration.
Cool.
Bring feeling to my
Excellent. Oh, real quick, Sylvester, I found you on ArtStation. You only have a few things up there, but yeah, you're especially the Incredibles painting that you have is legit. We've been talking about having like a live portfolio review type of show, so maybe we'll figure that out. Until then, hey Charles, if
What's up?
people are looking for you online, where can they find you?
Find me in a couple different places. One, you can find me on Instagram, instagram.com/CharlieBW3. You can find me at my website, cargocollector.com/CharlieBWilliams. Some latest and greatest reel is up there on that site, as well as archive of old stuff, you know, from where I came from. If you're looking for inspiration and all the stuff above, there's a site called Pinterest.com, and I'm on there, Pinterest.com/CharlieBW3. There's a bunch of stuff. Like, I just added a bunch of stuff this week. There's a bunch of stuff. Go there, get inspired, get in your life.
How about you, Jack?
You can find me at sketchbookjack.com and Sketchbook Jack on Instagram. I'm doing Inktober, so I'm posting every day. And Sketchbook Jack on Pinterest. Probably a couple of other places too.
I want to show you my favorite Sylvester piece.
Yeah, that's really cool.
This is really good.
Oh wow.
So yeah, artstation.com/ I think it's Sylvester Massey. So yeah, good job. This one is excellent. Keep doing that.
Yeah, keep going, buddy.
Yeah. But I'm Carlos. You can find me at carlosrgomez.com. Sure. But coconutjustice.com, Coconut Justice everywhere else. This is Sketch Zone episode 160.
Bam!
We did it.
So yeah, if you go to sketch.zone, you'll see the other 159 episodes, and we're working on more. And you'll find our links there. We have Facebook Instagram, all that stuff. Twitter, we're on Twitter. So if you're on Instagram and you're doing the fun prompt, that is a pelican learning in a penthouse. Draw that, tag Sketch Zone Podcast and Sketch Wallet. Tag us both. Let us both know that you've been, and actually go through the process of tagging people. Don't just at us, tag us. And then we'll it because otherwise it gets lost in the shuffle. And let Sketch Wallet know that you found out about them through us. And again, we're going to be giving away a wallet. It's October 11th. So if you're watching this, October 18th, we will be giving away a wallet.
Yeah.
And maybe more. It depends on what shows up in the mail. Yeah. So sketch.zone, we're all over the place. Tag us. Draw a pelican learning penthouse on Instagram. Tag us. And as you can see, there's some folks that watch us live and we interact and we try to do our best at answering questions that you guys have. Otherwise, if you're on Twitch, follow that link up there that says subscribe. And then if you're on YouTube, there's a link down there somewhere that says subscribe, and there's a little bell. Click on the bell, and every time we go live, you'll be alerted. Make sure that you follow us. Make sure that you share us. All of that stuff helps us get out there. And then if you can't watch live, you can catch us on Stitcher, SoundCloud, Google Play Music, and of course iTunes. Any of your podcast catchers out there, chances are we're there. I think that's it for us. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, guys.
All right, guys. Have a good week. See ya.